So of all the gods in Asgard, Gnossa was the youngest and most infantile. She was a short little negress born of Freya and Odur, but then one day her daddy done mysteriously disappeared whilst on his way to the store. So being told that it was her destiny to reunite her mommy and daddy, Gnossa would stand outside Asgard's wall day and night, waiting to see if she could catch a glimpse of her daddy and bring him home. She was a cute kid. Now Gnossa was a beloved little negress who all the gods adored, but because visitors to and fro Asgard were a rarity, and because she spent all day and night out there waiting for her daddy, she often spent a lot of time sat down beside Heimdall, the warden of the gay-ass rainbow bridge connecting Asgard to Midgard, realm of the humans. She would sit down by him and listen to the many tales he would have told her. Now Heimdall was always tightly gripping his piece wherever he went. It was a long, pointed ox's horn named Gjallarhorn, and he would sound it to let the gods know someone was crossing into Asgard. He would tell little Gnossa how he had trained himself to hear the grasses grow, how he could see around for 100 miles. He could see both in the night and the day, he never slept, had 9 mamas, and fed only on the finest brands of whey protein. Oh wait, I fucked that one up. He fed on the strength of the earth and the cold sea. As our little Negro sat by Heimdall day after day, he would tell her how all came to be. He was an old nigger, and he'd been there since the start. Before Asgard was built, he said, and before Odin was even a niggler, the earth, the sea, and the sky were all rolled into one potato, and that was this big-ass chasm, the chasmic chasm of chasms, named Ginnungagap. And there were 2 places, Niflheim in the north, with some old, cold, icy waste, and Muspelheim in the south. It was a fiery-ass warming place. And in Niflheim, the first place, there was a big-ass cauldron called Vilgamir that poured out no less than 12 slick, shining rivers that flowed into that big-ass chasm with the long name. Now those there rivers were being froze as they poured into that big-ass chasm, filling it with ice. From Muspelheim came the clouds of fire that warmed that ice into mist, which fell back down as drops of heavenly dew. From the dew formed the first living creature, the mega giant, Ymir. So Ymir done walked up the 12 rivers one day to see what was there. What he done found was one big-ass mega giant bovine specimen named Aduma. Ymir assumed the position and started sucking off her milk teats, growing into a strong-ass giant nigger from the sustenance. Soon other beings began forming from the mist. They were the bitches of the frost, and Ymir married one of them, and thus began the lineage of the giants. Now one other day, Ymir saw the big-ass mega cow, Aduma, breathe her warm-ass breath upon a cliff of ice, and then she done start licking that shit all over. More and more she did lick, and Ymir started to see the form of a man taking shape. But not an ugly, disgraggled, giant-ass mega-giant of a man like he, but a shapely, well-formed, aesthetic lift bro of a humanoid. First the head appeared, with its golden white boy locks of gold. Ymir looked upon it and got mad envious on that shit. He would have killed the pretty white boy where he stood, but he knew he wasn't getting no more bovine titty milk if he done did what he did want it to do. Now this ice cliff cow-licked nigger was a man named Burm, the first of the heroes. Now Burm was also living off the sustenance of the giant-ass mega cow titty milk. He married the mega daughter of the mega giant and had a son. But Ymir and Ymir's sons hated his guts, and finally they all done got up and murdered the nigger. And so as it follows, the rest of the bird's sons were mad and infuriated at the giant's awful behavior, and war began. Ymir and the sons of Ymir versus the sons of Bur. Odin was the son of Bur's son, and he done banded his brothers together and murdered the shit out of Ymir. Now Ymir was a big-ass mega-giant, so when he died, his blood rushed out and drowned all of his offspring, all except Bergelmir, who rented a boat with his wife and floated away to the place we now call Jotunheim, realm of the giants. Now Odin and his sons done grabbed that big-ass mega-giant corpse off the battlefield, and they done flung it into the chasm of chasms, filling that shit's holes and clogging up the void. They done dug the bones out of his body and piled them up into big-ass hills. That kind of shit's called a mountain. Then they took the teeth and they made them into rocks. Then they took the hair and they made it into forests and trees. Then they took his eyebrows and they formed them into Midgard, the world of men. Finally, they took his hollow skull and with it they made the sky. But it didn't end there. Odin and his brothers did more shit to make the world what it is. They took the sparks of the clouds of flame from Muspelheim, and they made them into the sun and the moon, and all them stars in the sky. Odin found a dusky giant wench whose name was Night and her son was named Day, and gave them both horsey-warsies to dry across the night sky, and the day sky too. Then Odin and his sons made a race of men who could live in that damn Midgard. During the war, some ugly-ass midgety dwarves had taken home there, so Odin done forced them into the hollow places under the earth. He let the elves stay on the earth though, as long as they don't take care of the streams and flowers and shit. There were also these Negroids called the Vanir. Odin stole Njord from them as a hostage so they wouldn't start any war or shit. Good idea, Odin. So Bergelmir, the giant who escaped from drowning in Ymir's own blood, had sons and daughters in Jotunheim, and man did they hate our nigger Odin. When Odin lit up the sky with the sun and the moon, they were mad as shit. They set out two of the fiercest, monsters, nastiest, fierce wolves to chase them down. And so still, the sun and the moon race across the sky, away from them wolves. And you know what else, little negress Nasa? We also got this big-ass tree, Yggdrasil, said Heimdall as he rested his hornpiece in the branch of the great tree. No one don't know of a time when Yggdrasil weren't growing, and the gods be shivering over the time it stopped growing, you hear? It done got 3 roots. One goes deep on the Midgard, another goes deep on the Jotunheim, and the third goes balls deep over Asgard. And over Odin's hall, the big-ass branch of Yggdrasil grows. We call it the Peace Ball. I know you've seen Yggdrasil, little Nasa, but you don't know half of its shit. Far up in its branches 4 stags eat of the leaves. They all shake their horns and the water falls as rain to the earth. And on the topmost branch, that branch be so high, us golden niggas can't even see. Upon that branch is an eagle, and that eagle knows all things. And on his beak is a hawk that can see the eyes of the eagle, what the eyes of the eagle ain't seeing. And deep down under Midgard is the resting place of the dead. There be this evil-ass giant dragon called the Nidhogg, who gnaws constantly at the root, striving to destroy it. And then there's Ratatosk, Squirrel of Mischief. He dones run up and down Yggdrasil, telling the dragon how the eagle gonna tear his shit up and fuck his mother, and telling the eagle that he's the next ingredient in the dragon's mad spicy Niflheim fried chicken tower burger. Finally, there be 2 wells on the roots of Yggdrasil. One far off and away in Jotunheim is the Well of Knowledge. This old craggly nigger named Mimir done guards it. Whoever drinks it will know all things. And then Nasa is Odin's well in Asgard. It's guarded by 3 beautiful wenches called the Norns. And they use his holy white waters to feed Yggdrasil, so it can be a healthy green tree of life. Finally, there be 2 white swans by Odin's well, and they make the most beautiful music. It sounds so good, we Asgardians love it. But you can't hear it for shit, 'cause you a kid. You just a little fucking kid.